Hi everyone, end of week 7 already. It's been a kind of hellish week this week with work. So I found it really quite difficult to read my book this week. Being so busy with major, big projects with work, and yesterday I went and sliced my finger open on my brand new piece of technology for my kitchen. So yeah, it's not been a really good week overall. But So yeah, I have, because I've been really busy this week, I found it really, really difficult to do any reading, but I have spent all weekend just reading and doing a few bits and bobs here and there. And so that means that still on schedule, I finished book 7 of the book challenge, which is The Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. Now, this is the second book in the Infernal Devices series, which is the prequel trilogy to the Mortal Instruments. I'm going to be reading them straight off after I finish reading these, as I've already mentioned in other videos, but I just thought I'd say again, in case you haven't watched any of my other ones. So the Clockwork Prince, it picks up literally like 2 weeks after the previous book, so you haven't missed anything. And what I do like about this one was that how easy it was to flow back into, because you do find that with some authors, depending on who their actual target audience is and such, they may spend a lot of time going over what has happened and such in the previous books or something, depending on the situation and how big a gap it is between each book. But in case of Clockwork Prince, because it's only 2 weeks, Cassandra's not gone back over things that have happened as such. Sometimes she does reference stuff that happened in the first book because of a need to, because there's this ongoing plot of trying to find this person called the Magister, and what he means. And also there's a lot of flashbacks with Tessa, our main character, regarding how she feels about these two men in her life called Will and Jem. So this one picks up straight away. We go carry on straight through, no funny business, just get on with it, which I totally respect Cassandra to doing, because I prefer it if when authors do that, if I'm honest. Now, as for the actual story itself, when it comes to the main story of finding Mortmain, who's our resident bad guy in this story, I kind of felt this one was a bit lacking in compared to the previous book. Not to say that I feel that the story got worse or anything, or I just felt it was this one, it felt to me that it was more of an emphasis on Tessa and her feelings for Will and Jem, rather than the progression of the Mortmain story. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of content about in this book about that storyline, but it kind of felt a bit off to me. How there is like this whole thing of having to go to a party and disguise himself in order to get little bits of information or hear little whispers here and there, but nothing really big happened. And then right near the end, obviously something really big happened, so it set you up for the third one. But yeah, at the same time, I kind of felt like in the first book, you had lots of kind of medium-sized things happening throughout the course of the book, and then obviously a big thing at the end. Whereas in this one, it was teeny tiny things and then a massive thing at the end. So I kind of felt, in regards to the Mortmain storyline, I don't know if it might have been better for it to be over 2 books instead of 3. I don't know, but I totally understand why she spent a big chunk of this book focusing on Tessa's relationship with these two guys, because in the first book we had all of this establishment about character Will, and how he's very standoffish, he could be quite harsh, he's a bit of a smart ass kid, and all this lot. And then you've got Jem, who's quite the opposite. He's very kind, he's very loyal, he listens to me, but he's got health problems. And how Tessa feels about them individually is very interesting in the first book, and then this one you have all of these secrets about Will's past get revealed. There's this whole thing about him tracking down a demon. There's all of this craziness kind of going on, and a lot of the time, you're like kind of in Tessa's head and her trying to understand her conflicting emotions about these two guys and who she should be with, and there's a whole mess of crap going on inside her head, basically. So as you'd expect, when and she's got these two guys who she really likes, and she doesn't know who she should be with. So I understand why that has taken up a big chunk of this book. As to where that will lead in the third one, I don't know, but obviously the third one, it's all going to come to an end. There is this quite significant reveal in this book. I won't say what it was, to do with Tessa's past, and she kind of talked about it for about a minute when she found out, and then nothing after that. So I was a bit like, that is pretty huge what she has discovered about herself, and after that point doesn't even get acknowledged. So I'm really hoping in the third book it will get acknowledged for a start. I gather it must do, because she must have to find out the truth about herself in the final book, because obviously this is the final time we're going to be focusing on Tessa as the lead character in this series. But yeah, I've got questions that I want answers to, and I'm a bit frustrated that I've gotten to the end of this book, and it's because of stuff in this book that are quite significant things that have been revealed, and nothing has gone further than that. So I'm really hoping that this last book, which is thicker than both of the first two books in the series, will answer those questions. Overall, how did I feel about it? Again, it had a really good pace. It was really well written. It flowed simply. It was very easily to flow from one book to the other. Overall, enjoyable, really great read, great characters written, really immersed myself in the world. That was fantastic. But I just wished that Cassandra hadn't spent so much time emphasising Tessa's relationship with these two guys, even though I know that it is really, really, really important. But at the same time, I wanted other things to be answered, which she didn't answer in these books. In this book. I just really hope in the next one we do get answers to those questions. Now, last week I said about how I was totally on the side, because you got these two guys, Will and Jem, and which team would I be on and everything, because for these two guys, and I said Team Jem all the way. I absolutely love Jem. He's absolutely amazing. Will's pretty much an idiot, and I don't really like him. Well, I like him, but not the same way. Has to be Jem all the way. Now, after the second book, I'm still Team Jem. Want to emphasise that. Still love him. Still, I'm so happy where he is and everything in his relationship with Tessa. In regards to Tessa's relationship with Will, I'm a bit like, oh God. There has been so much that has been revealed about Will's past in this book that I'm a bit like, oh my God, what the heck? Because it completely answers so many questions about why Will is the way he is, and why he said things to Tessa in the first book that he did, why he reacted certain ways, and it was like that scene at the end of the first book that she has with him, which I mentioned in my last review, where he said something and I was really angry. I was like, oh my God, Will, you stupid idiot, why the hell did you do that? Now I totally 100% get why he said that. So yeah, I'm a bit I feel like it's more evened out, but Jem is still number one for me. Totally. I absolutely love Jem. I think he's wonderful. But yeah, it's very odd with Will, and I really don't know where he's going to go in this next book, especially with how his relationship stands with Tessa at the end of this second book. So I'm quite intrigued to read on the last chapter of the Infernal Devices, but at the same time, I'm kind of dreading it. I have this horrible, horrible feeling something's gonna happen to one of those boys that is gonna break my heart. I don't. This is the thing about Cassandra Clare. She's a really great author, but I suppose you could have it with every author. They go, oh, you really like that character. Oh, good. That's good to know. Kill them off. It's it's time to have, and I have this horrible feeling something like that is going to happen to one of these characters. As to who it will be, I have an inkling, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to give anything away for any. Or, well, it won't be giving anything away because it's just my what's in my head, what I think is going to happen. But obviously, you guys, if you haven't read these books, don't know the characters, and I don't want to give anything away or anything like that. So I won't say what I think in regards to who's going to go where, what's going to happen. But yeah, I have an inkling that something significant is going to happen to a certain character, and I'll be really upset if that happens. But it's Cassandra Clare; it's gonna happen at some point in these books. So yeah, we'll just have to see. But okay, I'm going to stop there. So that was The Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. Again, really enjoyed it, thoroughly recommend it, and it's on to the next book in the trilogy. So I will see you soon. Obviously, I'm going to do a separate video to announce the next book, even though I know what the next book is going to be. It's not just me picking a book at random because I'm not reading a series, but still, I will make another video, and I will see you soon.